I was watching a video that was on TriStar channel. I'm going to share a clip of that video with you, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you.
Jamal Bryant called for a 40-day boycott of Target.
So let's 40-day fast.
Let's do it.
Calling the conscientious Christian community all over this country, the conscientious Christian community all over this country, I am calling for a 40-day fast from Target. Beginning on March the 5th. 100,000 conscientious Christians. You don't have to be black, Latino, Asian, white, 100,000. You're going to sign this commitment to be a part of this 40-day fast. 100,000 of you, bare minimal. I'm asking you that after service, you'll go to targetfast.org. Targetfast.org. I want you to share with everybody on your job, every person in your home, every person in your sphere of influence, every person who follows you on social media. I am believing for 100,000 people are going to sign this covenant commitment of not just prayer, but fasting from Target. Here's what is amazing. Listen to me, because what we learned from the Montgomery bus boycott is that racist America doesn't respond to speeches. They respond to dollars. Come on, and if they start losing $29 million a day for 40 days, we will break the back of the system. I want to go on record that not only am I asking you to fast for 40 days from Target, I am telling you to sell all of your Target stock.
Target stock. Calling it a fast as well. But let's see what
Instead of just a boycott?
yeah,
we had to go fast.
Let's see what Tiffany Montgomery had to say about this boycott. Lord.
How do you feel about what
Your favorites.
Donald Trump is doing right now with the DEI and all the targets and everybody? I don't feel nothing. Because sometime last year or the year before that, I had already boycotted Target for playing in your God's face. Let's be very clear. When Target had put them devil worshiper clothes at the front of their store, and they had started playing around with the spirit of perversion and targeting only your children and positioning their merchandise at the front of the store for your kids, I was already off of them, and Target was one of my favorite stores. But one thing I don't play about is somebody playing in God's face, and Target is very good for doing that. So the mere fact that they all of a sudden showed you that they also not just don't like your God, but also don't like your skin color, I'm just not understanding what all this selective outrage is about, especially from Christians. We got to be very careful in 2025 that we don't make our skin color an idol, because there is no way that your outrage is more potent because it's about black people than it was about your God. You should have been boycotted.
All right, so Plain's two favorite people. What do you think about this Target boycott?
I want to Target this week. Man,
Let's start the March 3rd.
March 3rd.
I'm gonna go there too.
Go for a couple weeks.
Man, Target is not a cathedral. It don't say Target Baptist Church. Like it's a store, and we're gonna go around and we're gonna boycott everybody who has a racist origin or everybody who doesn't worship God. We're not gonna go nowhere. Amazon sell anti-Christian type stuff. You gonna stop shopping on Amazon? No, you're not. So it's like, I don't let what these people do affect who I believe in and what I stand for. When I go on Target, I go get what I want. I'm not looking for devil worshiping clothes. I don't care if they feel a certain kind of way about me or this is my race and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna get what I want and I'm gonna leave. My child, it's up to me to raise my child and know the difference between ignorance and living like Christ. That's up to me and my household to do that. I don't care what these folks are doing. You gonna do your fast 40 days with it. I'm not against it. I'm not knocking it. I'm not criticizing and saying you're wrong. But for me, I feel like it's not that big of a deal for me. I don't let this stuff affect me like that. So I'm gonna show up and shop and then go home. That's how I feel about it.
As you can see in that video, Jamal Bryant wants different people in different ethnicity, background, whatever, that are Christians to boycott Target for 40 days. because they're not staying with their DEI program because they canceled that program. And then you also seen Tiffany Montgomery stating that she had already boycotted Target due to them having satanic clothing. I'm going to show you some more videos, and then I'm going to come back and kind of give you my full perspective on this.
Well, looking at the data, white men still control about 60% of the top leadership roles, while making up about 30% of the U.S. workforce. That's according to federal workplace data. So that raises two questions. One, is the concern among these conservative activists misplaced? But the question I'll put to you is, are these DEI initiatives actually working?
We've seen some very limited movements with respect to people of color and women in positions of senior leadership. But actually, white women have been the key beneficiaries of DEI policies to date. When we talk about whether or not this has filtered down to all communities of color, women of color perhaps, I think it's harder to see the dramatic movement. I think the hope was, especially with the policies that came into place after the murder of George Floyd, actually, if we just all really put all our efforts into trying to diversify our workforces, we'll see more movement than we have. We have seen some movement. The numbers are really small. I think it's about 9% of senior leadership roles are now held by by Black people, where they make up 14% of the population. But it's small. It's like 7 to 9%, something like that.
I got some Bud Lights for us. So I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate.
I'm not going to read this whole thing. In a closely watched civil rights case, a panel on the 11th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals blocked Fearless Fund from awarding $20,000 grants to businesses owned by Black women while the case is litigated, siding with controversial activist Edward Bloom that the grant program is likely discriminatory. A notable defeat for DEI occurred in early September when the Fearless Foundation, the charitable arm of the Fearless Fund venture capital firm, agreed to settle its case with the American Alliance for Equal Rights, led by controversial activist Edward Bloom, and end its grant program for the businesses owned by Black women. The DEI program was put in place during the time, or was brought up front during the time of the George Floyd incident, stating that it was a program that was going to benefit Black people. But as you can see, based on the information I just showed you, it did not benefit Black people. In essence, it's actually hurt Black people. Those companies was put in a position to have this diversity, this DEI program in place, but everyone else jumped on the bandwagon. If these stores did not have satanic clothing there, then the satanic people could say, hey, I'm not being included. If you don't include me, I'm gonna sue you. Transgender people could come in and say, you don't have us represented in your company. So that's why you see a man that is transgender running around in women clothing advertising for Nike, or with Budweiser, a beer company that initially was targeted towards a certain group of men. Now they have this transgender that was representing them. They hired a woman in that position that was saying, hey, this would be a great idea to do this with Dylan Mulvaney. They had a man at one point in time, I think, that was advertising tampons and talking about how to use tampons because they was transgender. All these people jumped on a bandwagon with a program that was initially put in place based on how the unrest with George Floyd. Then what happened with DEI concerning Black people? They did not benefit as far as working in companies, getting hired in a certain position. White women did. It hurt Black women because now the program they had in place to help fund businesses for Black women, you have a white man coming in there saying that this is not inclusive. You should not have a program that's targeting one ethnic group because it's not DEI. So they used the program against Black people that was supposed to be put in place to help them. Then when you look at affirmative action when it came to colleges, that same man, what's his name, Edward Blum, he did the same thing with colleges that had the affirmative action program to help Black students get in certain college. He came and said you shouldn't do that because it's not inclusive. So when these companies are put in the position that if we go towards this certain demographic and another demographic don't like it, they're going to threaten to sue us. So that's why a lot of companies are pulling back on that program because they don't want to be part of that woke agenda that did not benefit the people that it was truly supposed to benefit. So that's why they wanted to take that out. And then what Jamal Bryant is trying to do is also going to hurt Black people. He's stating that to go on to not buy anything from Target. He's stating to sell, if you have Target stocks, sell Target stocks. That will hurt Black people. What about all the Black people that work in Target? What about all the Black people that retired from Target that may have retirement benefits? What about all the Black people that has 401k plan? And a lot of times when you're with a company that has stock in a 401k, they invest that money into their stocks as well as other stocks. So if you retired from Target and you have a 401k plan and you're Black, Jamal Bryant is trying to hurt your money because if the stock go down, guess what else is going to go down? Your life savings is going to go down. If you're just starting and you want to build a saving and you work at Target and you Black and you invested in their 401k program, what's going to happen? Because you can't just sell it off because there's going to be a penalty. So they're trying to put you in a position where your finances is going to be messed up for what? A program that don't even benefit you? I cannot follow a person that's leading. It's like the blind leading the blind. Where are you going to end up at? Boycotting Target for 40 days and then what? Selling off your stocks from Target and then what? What about all the people that work there? Do you care about those people? Or do you care about an agenda that you have going on and not something that's going to benefit the people as a whole? As a leader, you're supposed to be a leader in the church, representing church people. A good leader does what? What did Jesus say a good shepherd do? He would die for his flock. He would die to protect his sheep. He would give up his life. But instead, you're not looking at the whole picture. You're looking at just the company. You're not looking at all these Black people, these single Black mothers that may be working for this company, these people that are invested into this company as far as their 401k program. You're not looking at all that. You're trying to do something, and then to compare that to what happened with the civil rights movement. Civil rights movement was to benefit Black people, not to hurt them. They boycotted a bus that provided transportation for Black people, but it was owned by who? White people. So by boycotting them, it did not hurt the Black pocket. it hurt the white pocket. But in this case, when you have black and white mixed together, you boycott Target, you also hurt black pockets. I don't understand your enthusiasm, just like Reverend Al Sharpton's enthusiasm about boycott Target, and then what is supposed to happen. That's not going to break the system. You see how white man is using the DEI program to hurt black people. So even if that program is in place, they're going to say certain things is against their civil rights. So before you get all these people to run out there, hurt their own pockets, you need to think things through. So either you're for your black people or you're not. Either you're a Christian or you're not, because you're not supposed to be putting people, jeopardizing people's livelihood for something that's not going to benefit the kingdom of God. Boycott Target, how is that benefiting the kingdom of God? It's not. So all these woke agendas that y'all Democratic people are stuck on, y'all are willing to shoot yourself in the foot to say what? That I led a group of people on a boycott, but it didn't achieve anything. It's not going to move black people forward when you're hurting their pockets. Suppose it's a lot in a certain neighborhood, it's a lot of black people that shop at Target, that work at Target, and Target say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna close down that Target in that neighborhood. But guess who's still gonna be shopping at Target? The white people. And so we're gonna keep the Target in the white neighborhood. That's not gonna hurt Target bottom line, even though you think it will. It don't, because Target, they can move companies around and put their companies in places where it's going to benefit them, and take it out of neighborhoods where they feel that it's not going to benefit them. And the only people that's going to be hurting from that is black people. So like I said, how can you support a program that don't even support you?